Here's something sadistic. I love late night, midnight movie drops. I love waiting for a movie to become available so I can press play and get a little bit of the satisfaction in just seeing a title come up on my TV. Last night, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga dropped on HBO Max. How many times can I say Max in the same sentence? And I was there, I watched it. It's now the following morning. I put the movie on twice, stayed up late just editing videos for YouTube. Gearing up for a shore weekend. I bumped everything we're dropping today just to bring you this morning. Because we have to talk about this movie, and it's not for the reasons that you've heard on the internet. Let's get through that intro. We got time.
Camera speed. Down production. Take one.
Action!
And what is up, my AKA Padders? Peter A. DeLuca here. Guys, girls, countrymen, Romans, I love all of you. Thank you for hanging out with me in the age of the downfall, of the end of film criticism. I watch Mad Max, any Mad Max movie, but Mad Max, Furiosa, a saga, something. I watch this movie and I see a wasteland. I see a world broken and corrupted and dirty and bleak. And, well, that's the way I look at film criticism. Because the internet came in heavy and loving this movie and somehow perplexed that it didn't quite hit the stratosphere. This movie didn't explode like its predecessor. The predecessor had really good timing and interest just in visuals. Good cast. People do enjoy Charlize Theron. People like Mad Max. People wanted to see the Tom Hardy version of Mad Max excel. And you can say, is that movie a bait and switch? Do we get more Furiosa, who was introduced in that movie, versus Mad Max? People believe Furiosa is so popular that they put all their efforts, they greenlight, and they put hundreds of millions of dollars in a prequel, a movie that takes place before Mad Max Fury Road. This is Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. It should just be called Furiosa, by the way. So this movie comes, it doesn't make gangbusters. It actually loses a good amount of money for Warner Brothers, who's had the franchise since inception. And you just hear, this movie deserves more. This movie is great. This movie is good. I am watching live streams about this movie. I am watching reviews on YouTube about this movie. I'm watching 40-minute long analysis of the entire Mad Max franchise that includes this movie. I'm absorbing for months now that this movie is great. It just didn't quite hit the box office. And there's a disconnect there. Why did that not happen? Good movies should make good money. Well, here's the truth. This movie is mid-level. It's okay. There's nothing of pure interest in this movie. It seems like it wants to be multiple movies. I feel like the beginning of this movie, it's nice. You know, like we get like an hour before we see the semi-adult Furiosa. You know, we get her as a kid. And even that is like somewhat interesting. It keeps us captivated because we're watching this elongated chase scene and we're getting introduced to like new worlds, new gangs, new environments. But then we're just thrown into everything that we know from Fury Road and things just happen. The cybernetic arm just kind of happens, and Morton Joe and stuff with the wives just kind of happens, and we have Gas Town, and we have Bullet Town, and we have all of these things, and these three towns have a symmetry. They work together, and Thor, Chris Hemsworth is Dr. Demento, basically. I think that's what they call him. He takes over one of them, so he Trojan horses them. All these things I tell you are not very interesting. They don't flow very well. Like we don't get to see more of the War Boys or like what we see them do. what we saw them do in Fury Road just fascinated us. This movie is a problem because it's the lesson, like, never meet your idol, never meet your rock star. When we know too much of an origin, when we know too much of a backstory, it's impossible to live up to expectations, and we saw that in real time. I don't think this movie hits. I don't think this movie has enough interesting elements to carry it over. I just don't, and I'm sorry. For 2 hours and 30 minutes, like, it was okay to watch this movie. I don't think it deserves the box office people were wishing. People wanted to say it was SJW, or the movie got woke, or I don't know. The franchise got co-opted by a female character. I don't know. I mean, the X-Men franchise got co-opted by female characters. People seem to like that. We get some lazy labels put around the analysis of what happened with this movie, but the truth is, it just doesn't quite hit. The movie just isn't really there, and we're moving on, and it stinks. And I'm sorry for the people that worked on this movie that made me feel like they had their time wasted. But making great movies, and making what George Miller did with Mad Max Fury Road, like, making that, it's not easy. It's hard, and it's not a guarantee all the time. Especially when you get a giant budget, you get basically any star you want. You get any green screen you want. You get to design the movie for extra lengths, and make sure we have all the cool looking cars and things like that. The movie just didn't have any stand out ideas. I mean, Hemsworth's chariot, his motorcycle chariot's kind of cool, but we're not quite there with this flick, and that's the harsh truth. Fury Road became a regular viewing experience for me and a lot of other people, a lot of you out there, a lot of the AKAPAD army. Fury Road is very special in just the way it's laid out. It's a supersized chase movie with a little bit of heart, a little bit of a wake up call, a little bit of a gotcha moment, and it's impactful. Some of the themes are impactful. Everything here, like I said, it's just passable. I don't want to say like the action sequences are blah, but I don't think there's any standout action sequence like we got in Fury Road, like we got in Road Warrior, like we got in I know people trash it, but Beyond Thunderdome has the cage fight. Come on. So, I don't know, AKAPADers, this one's going to have to sit with me for a while, but as of right now, I would say save yourself the time. Just focus on Fury Road, and it's better not knowing the origin of Furiosa. It's just not. It leaves a mystery up in your life.